The railroads have a 2004 problem, and they don't realize it, and neither does Congress. This isn't just about a strike. This isn't just about pay increases. This is about an industry that's downsized for years and years and years, ever since the 1960s, and that resulted in a hiring boom which took place in the year 2004. Now, between 2004 and 2010, it was predicted that the U.S. rail industry would hire 80,000 new people because of all the cuts that were made and all the attrition that occurred from people that were nearing retirement age. So a hiring boom started in 2004 at all the major U.S. railroads, so Union Pacific, BNSF, CSX, Norfolk Southern, as well as others. As this hiring boom took hold, massive amounts of new people were hired all around the country in different seniority districts all around. And these people are now approaching 20 years of service. So 2024 will be 20 years of service for these people. And the railroads could not get people typically 18, 19, 20 years old to hire on back then because generally speaking, the job has a lot of drawbacks. There are a lot of drawbacks to being a railroader. You can't predict your life, your schedule, your time off. You can't just tell someone, yeah, I'll be there at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. You can't set up a dentist appointment, a doctor's appointment. You can't volunteer for charity, go to your kid's baseball game typically. It's really hard to do any of that. It was back then. So because of that, they hired a massive amount of people that were already in their late 30s or even early 40s or later. So when this hiring boom took hold, there were massive amounts of people that essentially only had maybe 25 good years left to work if they wanted to stay that long. And now we're running against this wall right now where railroad employees, conductors, engineers, they're realizing that pay has not kept up with inflation, and they've given massive amounts of their life to companies that want ever more. They want more. And a lot of them are starting to realize that if this contract does not go our way, they're just going to go ahead and walk. So I've gotten a lot of feedback from people that are like, well, no, people aren't really going to walk, are they? That's ridiculous to make such a claim, but it really isn't, and it's already occurring. People that are near their 20 years are going out on medicals. They're going out on whatever they can to get out of the industry. And if we get crammed a bad contract down our throat, the PEB results specifically that only dealt with pay increases and they didn't keep up with inflation, but regardless, it did not address the issues that we really wanted to discuss. So quality of life issues, attendance policies. If it does not address any of that, then massive amounts of people are going to walk and the railroad is going to be stuck with their pants down. Now, Congress needs to think long and hard before they force us back to work by legislating a contract after September 16th when our industry is allowed to go on strike. If they do that, this will be different than in previous times. In previous times, the railroad has always paid very well to keep people around, to keep them on call working these terrible schedules, but that's not really the case anymore, especially after the alleged tax cuts a few years ago when transportation workers lost our ability to itemize and immediately took $11,000, $12,000 a year pay, taxable pay loss and deduction. So we would have had a $11,000, $12,000 deduction for our away from home meal expenses. We lost that. And as far as our reimbursable meal expense that we get from the railroad, as I've said before, engineers get $12 at the Union Pacific. It hasn't gone up since 1993. So any pay increase we get is just going to put us in a higher tax bracket. We're just going to pay higher taxes, which we already do with railroad retirement. So my point of this is that the railroads have a 2004 problem. They are looking at their workforce, looking at it going, well, yeah, we got lots of people there that still have a lot of time left in their career. They are wrong. They do not have a lot of people with a lot of time left in their career. I'm not sure what the percentage is exactly, but I'd say that probably half of their workforce are to an age that they could just realistically consider quitting, going out on a medical, taking a disability, doing whatever they have to do to regain control of their life and not have to be subject to call for a company that doesn't appreciate them and just told them that, quote, the carriers maintain that their record profits are made by their investment and risk, not any contributions by labor. So we hear that type of, discussion about us, and we really don't want to stay. I've got a lot of years to work left, theoretically, but even I don't want to stay. But the 2004 workers, the people that hired on, and they were already 40 years old, they are ready to go. And if we get a bad contract, they're going to take their back pay and they're going to leave. U.S. railroads, you need to think about this long and hard before you take your stance that you're going to cram a bad contract down our throat. And Congress, if you want an economic calamity to hit your country that you cannot fix, because you can't send the National Guard in there to replace qualified licensed engineers. You do not have enough of them, and you do not have enough truckers to haul the amount of freight that we haul, considering one train might carry 400 or 500 truckloads. If you want economic catastrophe, cram a bad contract down our throat. I dare you.